Hello everyone, welcome back. Imagine you have a React component with a function inside it. Every time the component re-renders, that function is created again. Usually, that's completely fine. But what if that function is passed to a child component? The child may think it's receiving a new function every time. This can cause unnecessary work. That's where usecallback comes in. What is usecallback? UseCallback is a React hook used to memorize a function. In simple words, UseCallback remembers a function. It helps React reuse the same function between renders when its dependencies haven't changed. Why do we use UseCallback? Prevent unnecessary function recreation. Useful when passing functions to child components. Helps optimize performance with memoized components. We mainly use usecallback when we want to avoid creating a new function unnecessarily. It's especially useful when passing functions to child components. Look at this syntax. Let's understand it step by step. Here, we create a function called handleClick. We wrap that function inside usecallback. And the empty dependency array means React can reuse the same function as long as there are no dependencies that need to change. Suppose we have this function. Without usecallback, a new function can be created when the component re-renders. With usecallback, React can reuse the previously memoized function. Now look at the dependency array. Here, the function uses count, so we include count as a dependency. When count changes, React creates a new function. If count doesn't change, React can reuse the previous function. Remember these points. Use callback memoize a function. It can help avoid unnecessary function recreation. But use callback does not stop your component from re-rendering. And we should not use it everywhere. This is one of the most important interview questions. What is the difference between use memo and use callback? The easiest way to remember it is use memo memoize a value, use callback memoize a function. Now, let's look at a common real life situation. Suppose a parent component passes a function to a child component. Every time the parent re-renders, a normal function can have a new reference. That can make the child believe that the prop has changed. Use callback helps us keep the same function reference until its dependencies change. But what does memoize a function actually mean? It means React can remember the function reference. If the dependencies haven't changed, React can give us the same function reference again. The first mistake is thinking use callback stops re-renders. It doesn't. Use callback memoizes a function, it doesn't prevent the component from re-rendering. The second mistake is using use callback everywhere. Not every function needs to be memoized. Memoization itself has a cost, so use callback should be used when it provides a real performance benefit. The third mistake is forgetting dependencies. If your callback uses a value that can change, that value usually needs to be included in the dependency array. Here, count is included because the callback uses count. What is use callback? Use callback is a React hook used to memorize a function. Why do we use callback? To avoid unnecessary function recreation, especially when passing functions to child components. Does use callback prevent re-renders? No. It memoizes a function, it doesn't prevent component re-renders. What does use callback return? It returns a memoized function. Difference between use memo and use callback? Let me know in the comments. Should we use callback for every function? No. Use it when memoizing the function provides a meaningful performance benefit. Here is a quick revision. So remember this. Use callback memoizes a function. It's useful when function references matter, especially when passing functions to child components. It doesn't stop re-renders and don't use it everywhere. That's the complete explanation of use callback. Now you know what it is, why we use it, how the dependency array works, and the important interview questions. For more React interview concepts, keep learning with me. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.